what it means to be an American. America is freedom, and freedom is special and rare.
We, the people of this great nation.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
We, the people.
We, the people
of this great nation.
of this great nation.
Good morning, my fellow Americans. This is Jace Haber, and you are tuning into the Republican Nation. Okay, so my topic of the day and what I wanted to jump in, I usually only do this Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., but I wanted to jump in because I've been seeing the havoc and the madness that's been going on in Washington, D.C. Now, obviously, we all saw what was on the mainstream media, but we didn't really see. A lot of people don't dig into this as much as I do. So I want to talk about the Proud Boys. Now, I've been very hard on them in my previous podcasts because I don't necessarily agree with the leadership. And when I mean I don't agree with the leadership, I don't agree with Enrique Tarrio because I know him personally and I know who he is. Putting that aside, I saw a lot of patriots out there yesterday. I was watching streams left and right, getting information, writing down things down. And I realized, I go, these are all Americans that are proud to be American. My question is what do they stand for? And this is the big problem that we're having, right? They're marching through the streets saying, fuck Antifa. But what the rest of America's thinking is they stole our election. They're violating our constitutional rights. It almost feels like they're focusing on the wrong message. The message should be on the government and what the government is doing to us and what these people are allowing to happen to our country. That being said, I do understand Antifa's becoming a huge movement. I don't care what anybody says. It is an organization, and they are being extremely violent. Now, this is my problem with all this. At some point, the Proud Boys need to figure out how to organize themselves better. They were all scattered everywhere. They were not organized whatsoever. And this I blame mainly on leadership, which I'll throw the blame on Tarrio, on Enrique, because, it's... People are getting stabbed. People are getting hurt. And then I see people following these rules that Antifa doesn't follow. Now, let me explain. I don't want to incite violence, right? But Antifa's actually gotten their message across. Like, they're actually making a movement where they're controlling portions of, Portland, Oregon. Right now, they have another autonomous zone. They had one in Seattle. They're doing things. It seems as if they're more organized. And it seems like they're getting their message across to the government more than the Proud Boys are. And the Proud Boys are actually on the right side of history. They're trying to defend our right to bear arms, our right for freedom of speech. They are really, and I could see it. I see it in their eyes. I see it in the, again, the key to all this is organization. And I know that they have heart. I know they have patriotism, but you can't be afraid of getting arrested. If you're going to go out there and you're going to do something, you got to do it. And again, I'm not inciting violence, for example, but let's look back at history and the biggest movements that have occurred in history. The Civil Rights Movement. The majority of Black Americans that were involved in that, and whites, never threw a punch. They never threw a punch. They just were extremely strategized. They used a very good strategy in letting America know what's going on. Right? So what happens is if you have the backing of the entire United States, then you have a movement going. This isn't about selling shirts. At least it shouldn't be about selling shirts or gear. It should be about making actual progress and movements and getting justice for all of us, for everything we've been through for the last 4 years and the plans that the radical left have. And that's my stance on it. I feel organization is key. It's obvious that it's unorganized, and yes, Antifa has gone way beyond what anything I can imagine. They're going to the point where they're arming themselves and they're actually stabbing individuals. But at some point, you can't just follow all the rules. Like, if you're protesting, you should be marching and continue to march no matter what's in front of you. Okay, people are getting arrested every single day and released the following day. Problem is, I feel that there's a mixed messages going on within the organization from what I see. Again, I'm not in the organization. I'm not a part of the organization. I'm just an outside American looking in. And I believe in the movement. I believe that everyone there is a patriot. They love this country. They want freedom for this country, and they are fighting a cause. Now, I believe the way they're going about it is ineffective. I strongly believe that. Yes, if Antifa's attacking you, you have the right to protect yourself. And yes, you have, I understand the part of fuck Antifa and your movement with that. But really, what are we fighting here for? Because the majority of Americans right now are fighting to make sure we don't get election robbed. Our elections don't get stolen from us. And it's something very serious. It's something that everyone should take serious. And I think the Proud Boys would get a lot more traction if sometimes you got to get down and dirty, and sometimes you've got to do the same thing the other side does. It's plain and simple. I don't know what other way of putting it, but sometimes, and I understand there's situations where, I understand the problem the Proud Boys have, which is the Proud Boys don't want to hurt law enforcement. The Proud Boys don't want to damage property because that's not how we roll. We want to get our message across, but we don't want to hurt those that we love so much, because Proud Boys love law enforcement. Whether the left tries to make it look like it's some sort of organization of white supremacists, it's not. It's not. It's a group of proud Americans all united with one goal. Now, what is the goal is what has everybody mixed up here. You can't keep going anymore saying that this is a fraternity where you guys are just drinking beer and talking politics, because you guys are trying to be the voice for Americans that don't have a voice. So therefore, and I apologize because I have been hard on them. I have said comments because I'm very disappointed with the leadership in it, because I wouldn't personally be able to walk alongside with the leader of it. It was pretty sad to see that the Proud Boys were out there fighting while the leader of the leadership was in a hotel room with his girlfriend hanging out, and meanwhile posting up comments on his personal page trying to sell stuff to his shop, and people are getting stabbed. I find that to be disappointing. I find it to be disappointing that any chance he gets to get in front of a camera, he takes it. He's there for the moments where he could gain some fame, while the other guys that are fighting in the front lines are just there fighting the front lines with no backing and no actual coordination, no actual organization. Every single one of these guys are Americans, and I want you guys to be able to get that message to Washington, D.C. I want you to succeed, but I want you to succeed with what other Americans that feel the same way as you do and send the right message. So far, we've seen that Antifa has been effective. We've seen their movements, defunding the police. We've seen that they've managed to take zones. They've managed to do things that we never thought would ever happen in this country. You definitely have a problem when you can go into an area where the Proud Boys are at and order an Uber. Shit's not really intense if you can get an Uber, and if you can just hang out there. There's an issue. First and foremost, organization and leadership, and then a message. What's your message? What are you trying to fight for? It can't be Antifa. It can't just be a group to fight Antifa. We do have law enforcement, and I believe we should give them the benefit of the doubt. We do have the National Guard, and we do have a president that stands strong and has condemned Antifa. Not Joe Biden, because that's not our president. But we do have a president. So now what's the message? They're trying to steal an election. This is what every American's feeling right now. All the polls are showing it. That's what I feel. I feel that they're stealing our election. And I have a family, and believe me, if something was to go down that was as serious as I feel that I have to go out there, I would. And I would die for this country. As my dad went to Vietnam, as an immigrant, my dad came over here and enlisted voluntarily to go to Vietnam because he loved this country so much. So that being said, I would do the same for my kids. But the time is not now, and I believe the mixed messages is making the Proud Boys look fascist, which they're not. We know who the fascists are. It's the ones that are claiming to be anti-fascist. And we know that the violent ones are Antifa. And we know that Proud Boys have a very good, at least a very good part where it comes to not wanting to hurt police officers. And I love that about it. And I love the fact that they don't destroy property. But look, in the civil rights movement, they crossed bridges where cops were standing there with batons, racist cops, obviously, at the time. and they got beat to a pulp. The African American community got beat to a pulp. I mean, Martin Luther King was assassinated. And what happened? Major movements happened in this country, and they didn't get violent. There was no violence from the African American community. It was the fact that it woke up America to what was happening. They sent a strong message to love instead of violence. Now, I understand sometimes you got to defend yourself, understandably. You have to defend yourself. You have the right and the freedom to defend yourself. But my message is, if you really want to be heard, if you really want to have the support of the rest of America, you got to really have a message that Americans understand. Okay, that America stands by, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is what everybody wants, which is what the Democrats are trying to strip us of. We don't want a socialist country. We don't want our president to be taken out of office illegally. We know they cheated the elections. Most Americans know the election was rigged. Everyone knows it's rigged. Democrats know it's rigged. Now we got to send it to Washington and let them know we are not going to accept these results. We are not going to accept these results. But going up against another group that's just a ridiculous group of clowns, because Antifa are clowns. That's what they are. They're unpatriotic. They hate our country. They hate this country, even though they live in it and they have options to leave whenever they want. They hate this country so much. I mean, this is literally these people do not stand for anything. When you burn our flag and you spit on our flag, you have no respect for this country. You shouldn't even be in this country. But that's just my opinion. I can't dictate the laws. I don't change laws. That's not my job. But I can just tell you from a person that's received several emails, because believe me, I got a lot of criticism for criticizing the Proud Boys. I wasn't criticizing the organization. Mind you, I do not participate in organizations because of different situations that can happen. RICO, considered a domestic terrorist group. But I saw a lot of patriots out there that made me so proud. You guys gave me goosebumps. So I want to give you guys that much. You guys gave me goosebumps, but it made me feel so bad to see how unorganized this was. And seeing the leadership, which I've already spoken about him before in the past. I've told you a brief history of the man that's leading this group. He's enriching himself just like he did before. And then at any moment he wants, he will betray you if he gets in trouble. This is a fact. He's done it in the past. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm just putting it out there. I don't care if he gets offended. I don't care. I'm saying what I feel, and that's the bottom line. So I see patriots out there, and I see them fighting for something, but the messaging is wrong. The organization in itself, how it's organized when they go to these places is all crazy. No one is together, and we all know when the violence breaks out. It's at night. And then you've got the leadership in his hotel room, not guiding anybody. Nobody can communicate with one another through phones. And you got people getting stabbed and getting hurt in the midst of all this. So you've got to make a message loud and clear and try to avoid violence. I mean, sometimes it's inevitable, but at some point, you got to make the message clear so other Americans can relate to your message. So you can have the backing of America. That is the key here, that the movement is bigger than the Proud Boys, because Americans feel this anger. Americans out there are angry. They're mad. You want all of us united with you. You want us all backing you guys up. You want this to be a major movement where people can be with you because we all feel the same thing and our goal is all the same, which is right at this moment is they're trying to steal an election. They're trying to take our rights away, and they're basically telling us, go fuck yourself. And they're committing the fraud right in front of Americans' eyes, and they're laughing at us in the process of it. They're literally laughing at us. We've been betrayed by attorney generals who knew about investigations, who should have said, at least when Joe Biden stood there on that platform and said that that his son was under no investigation, knowingly, Bill Barr should have stood up and should have said, And this is what's happening. Everybody is scared of saying what they feel. They're scared of the repercussions. And this is why Antifa is winning. Because Antifa is scaring everyone. Antifa has everyone worried. Antifa is making people scared of speaking what's on their mind. I honestly, to a certain point, believe that the Supreme Court justice didn't take the Texas case because they were scared of what Antifa might do if they did. And when our country is at a point where it's being sieged and dictated by the media and dictated by big tech, and we are intimidated by these people, where they're censoring, where you see a picture of Donald Trump attending, okay, he's going and attending the first military football game where the Navy was playing the U.S. Army, and right under his picture, they're showing Joe Biden is the projected winner of the 2020 elections or whatever. We have a problem. When they are putting this constantly in our brains, and you can tell that it's so obvious when he is posting a picture that has nothing to do with the elections. I mean, I got to tell you, there's something wrong here. And all of us see it. We all see it every day. I am on Facebook all the time. I can see the people that are attacking me, and I can see the ones that don't. And there's a lot more that don't. There's a lot more that stand by my message. So to the Proud Boys, keep doing your thing. Keep fighting for us. But if you want to unite America by you, you've got to have better leadership. You've got to have someone that sends out the message, the correct message, the message that relates to all Americans and what we're feeling right now because of these elections. Okay, and sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And by no means am I inciting violence, but there has to be some sort of strategy to this. This can't just be you book a flight, you go to D.C. and you come back the next day, you beat up a bunch of Antifa guys, and that's a wrap. That doesn't change anything. Those are not movements. Those are not things that change results of things. Those are not things that make you get echoed and heard by the mainstream medium. You must be heard by America. America must see your message and relate to your message. And that is how you're going to come across, and that is how you are going to be united with other Americans from all over the U.S. And that's just my message to you. You can take it or leave it. It's all good. I mean, I just express what I see. I express what I feel. And this is just what I'm looking at. I see a bunch of proud Americans fighting in the streets, but all over the place, and with no solid message. The message should not be fuck Antifa. Yeah, fuck Antifa. I agree with you. But the message should be more along the lines of what they're doing to us right now and what they're trying to strip us of. Because that is a big problem. That is the real problem. Antifa can be handled very easily by the FBI, Department of Justice, Donald Trump with the National Guard. Antifa can be manhandled extremely well. We don't have to worry about Antifa. Antifa's a joke. They're a bunch of clowns that hide their faces. They don't show their faces because they're scared of showing their faces. They get scared. They hide behind the police when Proud Boys show up. We know this. We all know this. So why waste your time on that? That's not really the message that Americans are feeling right now. Americans are down and out. Americans feel robbed. Americans feel like their whole world is going to collapse. And that is really what Americans are feeling right now. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow me at therepublicannation.com. I'm on every major platform. You can also see me live Monday through Friday from 12 to 3 on twitch.tv, The Republican Nation. I'm on every single platform. You just got to search The Republican Nation and you'll find me. If you want to be on my show, just send me a quick email, arepublicannation@gmail.com, arepublicannation@gmail.com. I am also running a giveaway. So for the first 5 people that I receive an email from with your full name and address, I will be sending you Republican Nation gear for free, absolutely free, just because you're a loyal listener. Thank you so much, guys, and God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless this beautiful country we have, America, that we still have so far. And let's keep fighting the good fight for Donald Trump. He did it for us for 4 long years, and we know it's been 4 long years. We must fight back for him. Thank you.
America great again.
Hi, it's Judge Janine. I want to thank you for listening to the Republican Nation podcast. It's an important podcast to listen to because the Republican Nation is all about the Constitution, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and all of those rights that are important to all of us. We've got to make sure that America doesn't lose any of those rights and that we stay true to our founding fathers' intent. So thanks again for listening to the Republican Nation.